In the vast expanse of the galaxy, where countless worlds bowed beneath the iron fist of the Galactic Empire, humanity was nothing more than a curiosity, a weak species to be dominated, exploited, and traded like chattel. Among the many captured, a single family caught the Empire's twisted interest, a pregnant human mother and her young daughter. They had been taken during a raid on a remote human colony, a beacon of hope that the Empire crushed with ruthless precision. Their lives, once ordinary and filled with hope, were shattered in an instant by cold, mechanical invaders who saw them not as people, but as commodities. The auction hall was a cavernous chamber filled with beings of every shape and size, their faces hidden in shadow, voices booming through vast speakers. The mother stood silently on the platform, her gaze steady despite the weight of her unborn child pressing against her abdomen. Beside her, her daughter clung tightly to her hand, her wide eyes reflecting the cold lights and strange creatures watching her with calculating hunger. They had been stripped of dignity and identity, reduced to items to be sold to the highest bidder. The mother's heart ached, not just for herself, but for her daughter, for the child she carried, and for all humanity now exposed and vulnerable. Before this moment, their lives had been simple. On Earth, they had known peace, or at least the semblance of it. The mother remembered the quiet mornings with her daughter running through fields of grass under the warm sun, the laughter and love that had seemed endless. But the galaxy beyond Earth was a brutal place, where strength ruled and mercy was scarce. The raid was swift and merciless. Empire warships had appeared without warning, dropping shock troops to overwhelm the colony's defenses. Families were torn apart. Homes burned. Resistance was crushed before it could ignite. The mother and daughter were dragged away, thrown into the Empire's prisons, and soon after, the cruel announcement came: they would be auctioned. The auction was not merely about trade, it was a spectacle of dominance, a message to all who might resist. As the bidding began, the mother watched alien bidders vie over her and her child, each voice filled with greed and contempt. The room echoed with offers from slavers, warlords, and black market traders, eager to own a piece of humanity. Yet through the noise and cruelty, the mother did not break. Her spirit remained unyielding, a silent defiance burning beneath her calm exterior. She clutched her daughter's hand tighter, shielding her from the nightmare unfolding around them. The daughter, innocent but aware, sensed the tension. She whispered questions no child should have to ask, and the mother answered with words of hope and strength, promising that one day they would be free again. Back on Earth, the news of the auction spread like wildfire. Broadcasts leaked through underground channels, painting a horrifying picture of humanity's plight. The images of a pregnant woman and her child sold like livestock ignited a fire in the hearts of millions. Governments convened in emergency sessions, their leaders facing a stark choice: bow to the Galactic Empire's cruelty or fight for their people's honor. Earth's military forces began mobilizing, scientists worked feverishly to develop new technologies, and citizens rallied in defiant solidarity. The auction's conclusion was brutal and swift. The mother and daughter were sold to a notorious warlord, infamous for his cruelty and disregard for life. Yet even in this darkest moment, the mother vowed to protect her children with every ounce of strength she had left. Earth's declaration was clear and resolute. This was no longer a silent submission. Humanity would no longer be pawns in an alien game. They declared an all-out war on the Galactic Empire, a promise that echoed through the stars, a promise of resistance, resilience, and eventual victory. In the shadows of the auction planet, whispers of rebellion began to stir among the enslaved humans and alien sympathizers alike. The mother's quiet courage became a beacon, inspiring those who still dared to hope. The galaxy had underestimated humanity's spirit. They had seen only weakness, but they would soon learn that beneath Earth's seemingly fragile exterior beat the heart of a warrior, unbroken and unyielding. The auction was just the beginning. The war for humanity's future was about to ignite. Earth moved swiftly. The auction's broadcast had shattered complacency. The images of the pregnant mother and her daughter being sold ignited fury across continents. What had been whispered fear and quiet preparation became open defiance. Humanity's leaders convened, not to debate submission, but to plan war. Strategic minds emerged, unified by the single purpose of ending the Empire's cruelty and reclaiming what was theirs. Commanders, scientists, and diplomats formed a council, their focus unyielding. Earth's military was no longer just a defense force, it became an instrument of calculated offense. Advanced research facilities worked around the clock. Engineers and physicists pushed humanity's technology beyond known limit. Where the Empire relied on brute strength and overwhelming numbers, humans developed precision tactics and adaptive weaponry. They exploited weaknesses in alien armor, created AI-driven battle systems, and trained their soldiers in unorthodox combat technique. The people of Earth answered the call. From every city and town, volunteers enlisted. Training camps filled with recruits, each one driven by the image of the mother and daughter, symbols of their own families, their own future. Humanity would not be broken. The first strike was unexpected. Earth's fleet, smaller but more agile, slipped through Imperial defenses near the auction system. They targeted supply lines and communication hubs, crippling the Empire's operations with surgical precision. The Empire was caught off guard. Their arrogance had blinded them to humanity's potential. The battle was fierce. Humans fought not just with weapons, but with ingenuity and unyielding will. They adapted on the fly, turning alien technology against its owners. Pilots used terrain and unexpected maneuvers to outsmart larger warships. Soldiers on the ground moved in coordinated waves, disrupting enemy formations. Victory in this engagement was a spark. It sent ripples across the galaxy. Alien species who had once viewed humans with disdain began to reconsider. Some saw potential allies in Earth's fight for justice. Secret negotiations started in hidden corners of the galaxy, as factions weighed the cost of siding with the Empire versus the rising power of humanity. On the auction planet, hope flickered. Among the enslaved humans, a resistance took shape. Inspired by stories of Earth's defiance, they organized covert cells. Saboteurs struck at supply depots, disruptors jammed communications, and spies gathered intelligence for the upcoming rescue. The mother and daughter became more than captives. They were symbols of resistance. Their courage in the face of unimaginable hardship inspired others. Even the harshest overseers noticed the quiet strength in the mother's eyes, the fierce protectiveness she showed toward her children. Plans for a rescue mission formed in secret. Earth's special forces prepared for a dangerous infiltration. Their objective was clear: free the captives, strike a decisive blow to the Empire, and return home with their people. Meanwhile, on Earth, citizens braced for war. Cities fortified, industries retooled for military production, and diplomacy intensified. The Galactic Empire sent envoys with veiled threats, demanding submission. Earth responded with resolve, refusing to back down. The Empire's grip weakened as human victories mounted. Supply chains faltered, morale wavered, and dissent grew among alien subjects. The tide was turning, but the battle was far from over. Humanity's spirit, forged through centuries of struggle and survival, shone brighter than ever. They fought not just for themselves, but for all who yearned for freedom. The galaxy would soon witness the rise of a force no one had anticipated. The mother's silent defiance, the daughter's innocent hope, and the unborn child's promise of a new beginning became the heart of this revolution. Earth's declaration of war was not an act of desperation, it was a statement of inevitability. The war had begun. The galaxy was changing forever. The rescue mission began under a veil of darkness. Earth's most elite operatives, trained for stealth and precision, infiltrated the auction planet with one purpose: to reclaim what was stolen. Every step was calculated, every movement critical. Failure was not an option. They moved through hostile territory, bypassing patrols and disabling surveillance with cutting-edge technology born from Earth's relentless innovation. The operatives communicated in silence, their focus absolute. Time was running out, not only for the captives but for the momentum humanity had built. Inside the prison compound, the pregnant mother remained a pillar of strength. Despite the worsening conditions, she protected her daughter fiercely, whispering promises of freedom and safety. Her unborn child was a beacon of hope in the darkest hour. She had become a symbol, quiet, unyielding defiance amid despair. Resistance fighters within the compound coordinated with the incoming forces. Small acts of sabotage weakened the guards' control, creating chaos to mask the rescue team's advance. Every freed captive was a victory, every step closer a chance for humanity to reclaim its dignity. The battle erupted suddenly. The Empire's guards reacted violently, but they were unprepared for Earth's precision assault. The human operatives fought with efficiency and courage, turning the tide in cramped corridors and open courtyards alike. Alien weapons and armor gave way to human tactics and resolve. In the midst of chaos, the mother went into labor. The birth was fraught with danger, yet her spirit remained unbroken. The new life symbolized the future, a testament to survival and hope that no empire could extinguish. Earth's forces overwhelmed the Empire's defenses, not merely with firepower, but with a relentless will to reclaim freedom. The rescue was complete. The captives, including the mother and her children, were evacuated under heavy fire. Every step back to the extraction point was a testament to human resilience. The Empire's facade of invincibility crumbled. News of the rescue reverberated through the galaxy, igniting fear among the Empire's ranks and hope among the oppressed. Other alien factions, previously silent or complicit, reconsidered their alliances. Earth leveraged this shift, forming coalitions with alien groups tired of Empire rule. Together, they struck further, dismantling imperial strongholds and liberating enslaved populations. The tide of war moved decisively in humanity's favor. On Earth, celebrations were tempered by the cost of conflict. Leaders acknowledged the sacrifices but vowed the fight would continue until justice was secured across the stars. The mother, now reunited with her children, became a living symbol of humanity's unbreakable spirit. The Galactic Empire's days of unchecked dominance were ending. Their arrogance had underestimated a species forged through adversity, driven by hope and an unyielding will to survive. Humanity had declared war, and through courage, innovation, and unity, they had won the first great battle. But this was only the beginning. The galaxy would never be the same. The mother's story was now the story of all humanity, a story of endurance, love, and the unstoppable rise of a species that refused to be conquered. The future belonged to those who dared to fight for it. Humanity had shown it would never be enslaved again. The war for freedom was far from over, but the heart of the galaxy had changed forever. Earth had risen,